just because so many people were mentioning compassion, I wanted to bring that up because I feel like that's a big part of what koan work is and what creative practice is. It's an opportunity, and part of this is the sustained attention that we're giving something, but to like allow this koan to touch these different aspects of us, because as my teachers have pointed out a number of times, these koans aren't about someone else out there, but they're very much about our own selves and our own inner community and the ways that we react and want and have pride and jealousy and get stuck and like getting stuck and hate getting stuck, love samadhi and hate meditation, all this stuff. But it's like if we're with all of those characters and can find compassion for them and understanding, and compassion comes through just understanding, then that opens up in us. And so many people just express that, from the sheep to the 16-year-old self to the parts of us that get jealous or confused or have had difficult experiences in the past, who have been one of these characters, who've felt the weight of failure and the weight of comparison. And creative practice, similarly, I feel can open up a tenderness towards existence. So we're here working with our hands and our eyes and so immersed in this process of creating that even something that is ugly, I feel myself loving because I made it and I witnessed it and I was part of its life. That's why I think there are no ugly babies. Like, you make a baby and you're like, oh my gosh, it's precious because it's like me. I know just the life energy that went into that. And of course, there's a part of the mind that can, of course, criticize and say, oh, I wish I would have done this better or this different. But there is something, I think, that comes through the making that can really just open the heart to a different way of appreciating beauty just through being part of that process.
It is beautiful to get to just pay attention to these very deeply human experiences and to really see the universality of them, even in these stories that are hundreds of years old. They speak to us. And in this tradition, they are alive because we make them alive. We make them alive with our practice and our willingness to try them on and imagine them or express them. And I think the thing that was reflected in our practice here and is reflected in the koans is the importance of the relationship among the practitioners, among the people, among all of us. And that's something that I routinely find in Sangha practice and community practice, that it is so much more powerful than anything we could ever do all by ourselves. How long would you sit all by yourself? Or when you're here, everyone working together to create the space, everyone doing their part, their unique part to create a container for each other. We can practice so much more deeply all together than we ever could alone. And the same is true for our creative practice. This was our experience in this retreat, that we were able to draw inspiration, I think, from others' creations, and to often have a kind of acceptance, maybe for each other, that we might have a harder time offering to ourselves if we were just on our own. Failure is something that anytime you're in a Zen situation, you will get to practice with. As you may notice, there are some special ways that we do things here that is in many ways kind of impossible to really get, especially not at first. And as you step forward into this particular tradition, then you step forward into opportunities to serve also. And so whoever's ringing the bell, your mistakes will be extremely audible to everyone. And guess what? Everybody will still love you after that. And you may be the one that carries that with you for days and days, but everyone else has moved on. The flow just continues. It's all just part of it. And we ourselves might find an ability to soften, an ability to accept ourselves a little more, having been brave enough to put ourselves out there, to have this experience, oftentimes only because we were willing to serve and do something for someone else. Or even we showed up here because we were hurting and needed help, needed something. That's also why most of us got here. So we work with these polarities, we work in these relationships, we grapple with these together, we don't know together. Sometimes we're the teacher, sometimes we're the student. And it's all just beautiful.
So Jomon is going to end with a capping verse.
Playing on a field of dreams, who can tell winners from losers? There's a mirror on the back of her jersey where her name would be. Awakening is a team sport.